So here are the solutions for the next four. Okay, so again, this is all times and divide or times, so I'm just going to keep the times on top, divide on bottom. I didn't factor these because these factors already match, so I know that I can have a times 4 cancel a divide 4. Okay, here, be careful of that 3. Okay, this is 3. It's just times 3, so there's only on the top the times 3. Okay, it doesn't belong on the bottom. It's a times 3, not a divide 3. Okay, so here I recognize that there's a common factor of 3 in the 9, so I'm going to factor the 9. Okay, here I've got the 8, which has a common factor with 4, so I'm going to factor the 8 into 4 times 2. Those cancel. Here nothing's in common, so I'll just multiply top times top, bottom times bottom, and that's just, I end up with 7 over 400. And this one, we can cancel out the times 2 divide 2 here. And so we end up with 1 on top and then 10 on the bottom. So with our mixed numerals, okay, we want to get rid of that plus that's hiding in there, that little sneaky plus in there that's hiding. So we're going to convert this to an improper fraction. So that's 11 over 8. When we multiply this, we're going to remember that that 6 is just times 6, so it just belongs on the top. Okay, so that's going to be 66 over 8. It does share some common factors, so we should simplify common factor of 2. So divide by 2 is going to give us the simplified form. Here we're going to convert that to 22 over 3 times 1 over 4. Again, they share a common factor, so maybe I'll just do that. 2 times 11 times 1 on top. 3 times 2 times 2 on bottom. I can see that the common factors cancel out, so I have 11 over 6 as my simplified answer. Here we're going to end up with 13 over 6 times 15 over 2. There's a common factor involved here, so I'm going to split up that 15 into 5 times 3. The 6 can be simplified into or factored into 3 times 2, and then there's that extra 2. It's only the 3's that are common, so I'm going to end up with 13 times 5. That's 65 over 4, and we can see that they share no common factors, so that's my simplest form. So here we're going to get 17 over 6 times 15 over 2. Okay, again, I can see there's a common factor of 3 here and here. So I'm going to factor that, 17, 5 times 3. Here this is 3 times 2, and then times 2. Cancel those out. So 17 times 5 is 85 on top. 2 times 2, or divide by 2 is divide by 4 on bottom. Okay. So this one here, this should be times 2/5. So 2 and 2/5 on the end here. Okay, so then again, to convert these into improper fractions, we have 14 over 5 times 15 over 7 times 15, sorry, that's not 15, that's going to be 11 over 4. Okay, my common factors are 7. I have a common factor of 3, so I'm going to factor that to 3 times 5. 11 is prime. 5 times 7 times, I've got that 2 that needs to be simplified, so I'm going to write that 4 as 2 times 2. Cancel these common factors out. Okay, so times and divide cancels. I'm left with 33 on top, 2 on bottom, and again, that doesn't simplify. And it's nice because we know that we can see when we do this process that there's no more factors that are shared. So times 3, okay, just on top, not on the bottom. I have a common factor of 4 here, so I want to maybe factor the 8 on the bottom. this becomes 43 on top. Well, that's prime, so we don't need to worry about that. So the 9 shares a factor of 3, so I'm going to write it as 9 times 9. The 8 shares a factor of 4, so I'm going to write that as 4 times 2. Those cancel, and so we're left with 43 on top over 6 on bottom. Again, they share no common factors. There's my simplest form. Okay, so then write this as 7 times 8 times 2 times 1. I don't really need the times 1. I know 10 shares a common factor of 2, so I'm going to factor that to 2 times 5 times 8. Again, I never bother factoring that 8 because I know it shares that common factor of 8 up here with the 16. Okay, so that's going to cancel. I've got a common factor of 2 here, and that's it. It's just 7 over 25 is the simplest form. And the last one here, we end up with 11 over 2 times 7 over 2 times, this is going to be 12 over 5. Okay, so we've got a common factor of 4 up here, so it's going to be 11 times 7 times 4 times 3. And instead of factoring the 2's, I'm going to actually group the 2's into 4 times 5. Okay, and by grouping the 2's, now I can just see more clearly. I've got a divides 4 times 4, and really that's it. So I'm left with 11 times 7 times 3, so that's 21 times 11, which will be 231. And that's all over 5. Okay, so that's my simplest form because we know that there's no common factors shared top and bottom.